Hi, and welcome to my midweek analysis for trading opportunities on the Forex and equities market. So we just had news coming out from Australia a couple hours ago about the quarter-to-quarter GDP for Australia, and that has moved the Aussie pairs to key levels that I'm looking at. So first off, we're looking at the Aussie USD. Now right now, price is below what I would consider support at 0.7050. A couple weeks ago, I mentioned that I want to see a test of this level before considering a trade. Last time, price actually never made it there. It got very close to it, but it didn't touch that. And so I stay out of this move altogether. I was not involved in that at all. However, this time is an actual test. This is what I like to see. Price actually touching and pushing below that. So the plan here is to wait and see how this level would react, and perhaps indecision shows, then I'm gonna be looking for opportunities to go long if a trade setup comes up. The next pair is the Euro Australian dollar, and just like the Aussie USD, price is right now sitting at a key resistance level, and this is where I'm interested in looking for a short trade if it does come up. So the level that I'm looking at is at 1.6050. Up until recently, this level has been holding as resistance quite nicely. We had a rejection there, we had a minor rejection recently, and going back further than that, another bounce off there. So we had three instances, say 2 strong and 1 weak instances where price has been pushed away from this level. If it does happen again, I will be looking possibly on the smaller time frame, perhaps 4 hours to 8 hours, to see signs of indecision first, and then take the trade if the rest of the setup forms and it meets my trading criteria. So from last week's video, I mentioned about Euro USD and how I was looking to take a long trade if price break above this yellow line, which it did happen, and I did take the trade, and I got out of that trade pretty much at break even after I see what was happening. So we'll zoom in a bit closer so you can see. This is the trade there. We'll do it on a 1 hour chart so you can have a bigger picture of what was going on at the time. So what happened is that price pushed up, break above the yellow line, which I drew on my chart last week. That was the level that I want to see break and then retest it. It did come back to retest. That's where I entered the trade. It made another big move up. That was all good, but then price started falling down, and the signal that got me out of the market was actually on the daily chart. So if you look at the daily chart, I entered on the pullback right here. So this was the day before the signal to exit had come out. This candle here was a big concern to me, because if I see this candle and I'm taking a long trade, it doesn't give me a lot of confidence that buyers are in control. This is indecision candle. If anything, it is a indecision candle that slightly favors the sellers because of the structure where the body opens and closes and how tall the upper wick is. So after seeing that, the following day, which is this candle, I decided that's not what I like to see, and I closed out. So that was a good decision in the end, because stop loss would have been hit the day after I make the decision to exit, because my stop loss was there. We're coming back to the pound Australian dollar, and the pattern has continued despite what I said it was going to do, just to show you that you could never know what the market's going to do. So what do we have? We have a pattern now of 3 higher lows and 3 higher highs. Where it goes from here, I really can't tell you because I don't know. However, looking at the pattern, if it does continue like this, then I would expect that perhaps in the next week or so, it might come back down to retest this upward trend line here. And if that forms another lower high, then it might continue up. No trading opportunity that I can see, so I will just continue to monitor this pair to see how it progresses. Going to the equities market now, and things are beginning to heat up. So for 2 weeks now, I've been watching the Hong Kong 50 and the US 500. Let's see what they've done. So Hong Kong 50 price has come up to 29115, tested that, got a small rejection as you can see here. However, still no sign that sellers are taking control. And I went out one step further and had a look at the weekly chart, which does give you a lot more information, a lot more clarity, should I say, sometimes. So what could I see here? Looking at this particular move here, the thing that all of these candles have in common is that they all have a higher lows, and that pattern hasn't been broken yet. Most of them have a higher highs. Some weeks market couldn't make high highs, but all weeks from here to here market has been able to make a higher low. So for me to take a trade, I'd like to see at least a lower low, possibly one that clears out a low from the past few weeks. So we're talking about this line here. Go back to the daily chart. So a lower low, 20, around about 28,400. For me to take a trade, I want to see that level being taken out, and then I would reassess to see whether or not the reward to risk ratio is worth it to take the trade or not. Right now though, it's still only watching, but I can see that perhaps market is slowly pushing up again, so there might not even be a short trade here. Let's see how this week closes. Finally, moving on to the US 500, and again a very similar pattern, but this one is a little bit more promising. So we're looking at the daily chart here. On Monday, price was able to push down and make what I call is a minor significant low. So we had a low here, and that was tested. It's hard to say. I'll show you on the weekly chart, which provide a lot more information. So this is the weekly chart for the S&P 500, and again a very similar pattern to the Hong Kong 50. We have weekly candles all making higher lows. Not all of them have high highs, but the higher lows is all in common. This week, however, the low of this week is actually lower than the low of last week. So at least there is a sign there that buyers are slowing down and sellers are beginning to catch up. So my plan for trading this is once again to be patient. What I'm going to be looking for, however, let's zoom in on the daily chart here. So I'm looking for a break, and I really mean a strong break of this level here. We call that 2768. So I want to see price on the daily chart being able to push down and possibly close below that. By the end of this week, if no trading setup has formed on the daily chart, I'm going to be going back out to the weekly chart and have a look at the overall picture again. Because right now this market is still very strong. Buyers have been in control on the weekly chart. So I like to have more confirmation to see how it goes. For a very speculative trade, I can enter the market right now where it is, put a stop loss just above there, and set my target around there somewhere. That could get me to possibly 3-to-1 reward to risk ratio, but that would just be purely from guessing. And I like to have a little bit more confidence in my trade than just guesswork. So we'll see how it goes for the rest of the week. Like always, if I do take a trade, I will try my best to record the trade. If not, I will review the trade in next week's video so that I can show you the process of my thinking and how I actually take it. That's it for me for today. Hope you have a good trading week, and we'll see you next time.